Hi, this is Hal Kempfer, national security analyst on multiple media outlets. Specifically, I want to mention, of course, live now from Fox and News Nation. Also, a consultant that works in a variety of things with national security and homeland security. Host of the Strat podcast, Strat being Strategic Risk Assessment Talk, widely available any place you can get your podcasts. And of course, you're listening to Hal Kempfer TV on YouTube right now. I'm going to talk about three things involving the U.S. Iran talks on nuclear weapons. Number one, all right, U.S. policy, along with the policy of pretty much most of the countries around the world, not the least of which Israel, Saudi Arabia, pretty much all of Western Europe, pretty much all of Europe for that matter. Even Russia had this as a policy, has been that nuclear weapons cannot be developed by the extremist Shiite theocratic regime of Iran. This has been our policy forever. They cannot have nuclear weapons. And so there's been a variety of things done over the years to try and prevent them from having nuclear weapons. Number two, at one time, the U.S., under President Obama, led a multinational group meeting with Iran to come up with this agreement that would prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons. It was called the JCPOA. Not going to get into specifics, but what it did was it was a inspection regime that would look at every place that Iran might be developing nuclear weapons. However, it also was done in exchange with sanctions relief, which put a lot of money, billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, back into the Iranian treasury, which they use for a variety of purposes, not the least of which to develop ballistic missile capability, ballistic missiles that could be easily adapted to carrying a nuclear warhead that could blow up cities in the Middle East, such as Riyadh or Tel Aviv, or even reach places far afield, such as Europe. And of course, their goal would be to have a ballistic missile that could reach the United States if they could ever develop it. Anyway, it was a big gap in the agreement that was with Iran. Number three, things have changed a lot for Iran. Its network of militia groups, proxies, if you will, Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, Syria under Bashar Assad, the Shiite militias in Iraq have all been seriously degraded, debilitated, in large part destroyed. In the case of Syria, the only Shiite-led nation state ally of Iran, the Bashar Assad regime was completely overthrown, and now it's basically a Sunni-led government, which is essentially backed by Turkey. And it's not quite a Turkish proxy, although that charge has been made, but it is very much Turkish backed. So essentially, in the Shia Crescent, as they call it, where it goes all the way from Lebanon across through Syria and Iraq into Iran, that whole area, they are basically, let's just say, back on their heels, or they're down for the count, one of the two. But they don't have a proxy network there. The last remaining one of significance, the Houthis in Yemen, are being bombed into, they're being bombed into insignificance every day, and major strikes are taking place, which are going after not just the missiles and the drones, but actually going after their leadership targets. So they're getting hit hard. So in other words, they don't have that proxy network. So they are in a tough position. How do they maintain relevance? If they try to develop a nuclear weapon, Israel and the United States have made it very clear that they will pursue military strikes. And with that said, Israel has already destroyed most of their air defense capability in Iran, and the U.S. has moved B-2 strategic bombers into our base at Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean within very easy strike distance of hitting Iran. So therefore, the strategic game has changed dramatically, and Iran is in a very tough position. Either they're going to have to come to some agreement that will forego any chance of them getting nuclear weapons, or they're going to get stopped in a very serious way, which could be a regime ending series of strikes. That's how big it is. So they've been secretly talking to the U.S., and now they're going to come to the U.S. and actually talk to the U.S. directly in a very overt way. Quite a concession, if you will, from the overblown rhetoric that we've heard from the Iranian regime to date. Hey, thanks for listening to Three Things. Covered a lot of territory with this. You're probably listening to this on Hal Kempfer TV on YouTube. You can also listen to the Strap Podcast on www.strappodcast.com. Or you can go to my website at www.gripsa, that's for Global Risk Intelligence and Planning, gripsa.com. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll tune in for the next one.